Introverts, how did you meet your girlfriend? I am the introverted girlfriend, so I hope I fit. We knew each other in high school. He asked me out and I said no because reasons. In college I was used to guys asking me disgusting questions. One day I accidentally sent him a nude. I apologized and he brushed it off and was super respectful. I was really surprised by this nerdy guy that my heart melted. Haha. 2 months later, needed to work up the courage, I asked him if he wanted to hang out. Turns out this super nerd guy and I were perfect for each other. I promise you guys that night I was shitting bricks. I was sweating up a storm, but I hit send despite my racing heart and shaking hands. And here we are 2 months and 5 months later. He makes me so happy and I'm glad that I stepped out of my comfort zone that night. I love you, Bunny. My friends made a beach get-together and things just happened to launch from there. I knew she fancied me but I was uncomfortable. A few drinks were passed around and I just got loose and saw how easy it was to just talk about anything, doesn't matter who's hearing. She apparently liked the persona. We exchanged numbers and meet the next day, to which I was completely embarrassed because I felt like she accepted the happy, loose individual from last night, but I was just the shy kid from class who made a bunch of drunk promises to her. She totally digged it when I expressed that part. Doesn't matter, she inspired me to reach above and beyond and I got motivated to be an engaging individual at home and outside. We sorta split up but constantly check up on each other and it's killing me. I met my wife on Tumblr. I even think our first interaction was me making fun of her. I didn't. Facebook post about anxiety, lol. Weirdly though, her cousin was my first girlfriend, but that was around 7 years ago. Probably will be buried, but hey, I think it's cute. We're both introverts, and as a result, it took a little while for us to actually become romantically involved, a little while being 7 years. She and I met when we were both 11, when we were put together to compete in a music competition as a duet. We're both cellists. I had a little 11-year-old crush on her straight away, and she had the same thing for me. Neither of us ever told the other about our feelings for years, instead talking to our friends about it and then getting into other relationships and forgetting about each other for a while. Eventually, after I broke up with my girlfriend of 3 years, I asked my now so if she wanted to catch up and play some music together. We saw each other for a few weeks in a row, and then, after 7 years of on and off feelings for each other, we became a thing, and I am happier than I've ever been. Edit, phone fingers. I'm a gregarious introvert, as in I can talk to pretty much anyone about pretty much anything, but only for a certain amount of time with a little engagement, and my girlfriend is a mild introvert. We were friends for about 1.5 years and acquaintances for about 2 before we started dating. We met because we both are East Coast swing dancers and she was teaching a beginner's lesson at my university's swing club. I went from semi-beginner to fairly experienced in about 6 months and started teaching beginners the next year by helping run the club. After about 1.5 years of being club leaders, catching meals whenever we could, and super awkward flirting, we started dating. All that's to say that finding someone within a hobby that you genuinely enjoy is a great place to start. Match.com, 5.5 years ago. My now wife and I met up and bonded over video games. Dark Souls series is our jam. I met her at the halls in the first year of uni with the help of a lot of alcohol and her need to make new friends. Girlfriend of an introvert programmer here, I made the first move. Introduced myself and basically made it very clear I was interested in him. Still took him about a week to realize that I wanted to jump his bones. It's been 4 years, he has turned me into a serious gamer and I have not changed him at all. XD. P.S. I'm super extroverted. Opposites attract, you know? A few friends convinced me to do a play, she was also a part of that play. After the first show she messaged me on Instagram and we've been talking since. We've also done every show together since then. I'm an introvert, and a woman. My so showed up at my house one day, and didn't leave for 2 weeks. His brother was of one of my roommates at the time. But you know, we had actual conversations and hung out, because being an introvert doesn't mean I'm socially awkward. Simply asked me out. Dated for a year and now married for 31. My boyfriend is really introverted and I am really creepy. I saw him on Facebook and sent him a message out of the blue. He was really flattered and we started talking, eventually arranging a coffee date. He barely spoke in person due to nerves, but I knew from our online conversations that there was something great in their smile. We've been together ever since. We went to high school together. One day we started messaging on Facebook and ended up talking online every day for 7 months before we finally gathered up the courage to ask each other out. We're both introverted. Spent 2 years on Tinder. My paragraph was like looking for a girl to play video games with. Eventually found another introvert and now we've been together 6 months and she beats me at Tekken. At work. Made my move on her at my leaving do, when I was off to another team. These threads are dumb. They imply that introvert equals unable to cope with social interaction. Introvert equals needs time alone to recharge. Extrovert equals gets energy from being around others. Deleted. Cripple Camp. I was at Wawa, convenience store in the Philadelphia area. I was wearing a RoboCop shirt. She said I like your shirt and I replied with yours ain't bad either. Then we started talking. It's been a pretty good couple months. Her shirt was a plain blue shirt. Facebook. I made small talk with an equally introverted girl in a college class who I thought was cute, with the intention of being friends and seeing where it might go from there. Then one day she pulls me aside before class, vents to me about her terrible life she feels locked in, and I gave her support until she could get out, and on the day of the final she said, "You know I love you, right?" That kiss left me catatonic for a solid 5 minutes. You gotta remember, introverts are not the same thing as socially awkward people. Simply people who can be shy, or do not actively seek out the company of others/large groups of people. I feel like it would be more accurate to say that my girlfriend met me, as she is essentially the reason I ever did anything outside my small group of friends. This only occurred because I decided to mess with my buddy and not sit next to him so that someone I know who liked him could at a marching band competition. Because of this I was prepared to not talk, or at the very least nothing more than the smallest of talk with whoever sat next to me at this point. This happened to be my would-be girlfriend. This happened at every competition thereafter and I put it up to dumb luck until one day she walked up to me during lunch at school, where I had maybe said hi to her once, and told me she liked me. Booze. Enough to not be so awkward. Works like a charm. Guy here. My boyfriend found me. He decided to friend me on Facebook and ended up finding out that I'm trans. He asked me some questions about it because he genuinely didn't know anything about it. We started talking more and more and ended up becoming a thing. I'm going to visit him in December. I've said it once and I'll say it again, Omegle. First year chemistry lab class at university. She walked up to me and asked if I wanted to be her lab partner. Obviously I said yes. Her extroverted roommate sent me a Valentine's card anonymously from the both of them, but I could tell it was the weird girls from down the hall in the dorm. I met my girlfriend, now wife, at a small house party. It was a good setting, not a lot of people, plenty of ways to find quiet places to have a one-on-one conversation. On every Myers-Briggs test I have ever taken I've come up a solid 10 out of 10 on the introvert grading every time. But that doesn't mean I'm some recluse or that I can't hold a conversation or that I can't engage in a crowd, or that I'm shy. Introversion and shyness are not the same thing. It mainly means that to get by in a scenario like that I have to act. Crowds are not my preferred way of doing business, but it can be done at the cost of a lot of mental energy. The trick is to find that scenario and/or subject where you can excel and try to put yourself there as much as you can. If I'm hanging out with more than 2 people I tend to shut down. But put me in a one-on-one conversation and I will talk your damned ear off. and sometimes be pretty funny while doing it. So whenever I want to get to know someone, I try to talk to them alone. I'm more comfortable that way, it doesn't require as much mental energy, and my personality comes through much better. You don't have to try to fight being an introvert, just learn to work with it, avoid the scenarios where you won't do well, and target the scenarios where you do great. Or learn to act, and prepare for a very exhausting life. P.S. Would recommend the book Quiet by Susan Cain to any or I looking to understand more.